team, you literally loved the YouTube last week of joining us on a shopping little trip, and we will be sure to do that again, but we have been bloody busy, I won't lie. You guys now know that I have launched Razzle Dazzle Hair, which I'm so proud of, and my baby this week has just launched Jack Wheels. I'm so proud of him. I mean, I always remember back in the day of school, all the posh kids used to wear bloody Jack Wheels, and I didn't used to wear it. I'm not really too sure why. I'm gonna say I couldn't afford it. And I always remember everyone used to wear those blue gilets with like the little pink bird on, and I'd be like, I really think that was quite cool. And then it kind of just needed a breath of fresh air, which is where Teddy Suarez comes in. You know, he is actually pretty cool. I hate to admit it. He's a pretty cool bloke. So he will do amazingly. I know he's worked so hard on it, so I hope you guys love it as much as he does, and also I do. #1 supporter out here. What we did do for you when we moved in to our lovely little humble abode was film my top tips when you first move into your rental property or your first time buy or buying in general. So go and have a little look. These are actually pointers that everyone seems to bloody forget about. So have a little look. It used to be my bugbear when I was back in the day, when I was my estate agent and letting agent. It used to really piss me off when people didn't do these things. So go and have a little look, and we'll be back in a hot second. So we have just moved in. We have done my top tips of moving in, which is check your smoke alarms, take your meter readings, go through your inventory always. I mean, they are always my top tips, and check your keys. Everyone always does that. Everyone always does that. If everyone done that, then I won't be talking about it. No one ever does that, and it really just causes issues later on down the line. I'll be really honest, like when I was a letting agent and I used to do inventories and I used to have to take people's meter readings and gas meters, I was terrified of spiders, so I didn't really ever used to do it. That's the truth. Like I used to get really scared. I used to get really annoyed having to try and find water meters outside properties. So I just used to be like, oh, I couldn't find it or whatever, and then it just used to cause issues later on down the line. Yeah, you could say it's because I was lazy, but I could also say it's because other people were lazy and they didn't want to take their own meter readings. Like, we're here to help as agents, we're not here to literally like mummy cuddle you. And this is the brutal truth about estate agency. So with that, what I did want to speak to you all about as well is the referencing process for rentals. So many people don't really understand what you need, and I just thought it would be a really good opportunity. We've spoken about viewings, to actually have the chat about what the next process is, especially if you're renting a property. So it's going to be really brief, but super useful, I hope. What you'll need, what you don't need, and let's get you moved in nice and smoothly. So 9 times out of 10, your letting agent is going to have an outsourced referencing company. Hardly ever do it in-house. I'll get there in the end, in-house. We'll be honest, once we hand over your details to the referencing company, we don't really have any jurisdiction over it. We can't get involved in it, and it is over to them. They are paid to do that job. So what they are going to do on you, they are going to carry out a credit search. I would always say to anybody at all, and make sure you've checked your credit before you apply for a property. So even if you go for a viewing and you're like, I want to go for it, before you even speak to the agent, check your credit score. And that can either be on Experian or Clear Score. And make sure you've got no IVAs or adverse credit or CCJs. That's number one. Like, I've met people in the past, like, this is like true stories. They've had, why am I stumbling so much with my words today? They've had CCJs, which is a county court judgment, put against them for like parking tickets, phone bills, things that they didn't even know about, and then they come to us and then we like have to ring them and be like, you've got CCJ, and they're like, what? So make sure you've checked that. Make sure you've checked that. That's like number one. Number two, they're going to carry out a previous landlord reference on you. If you live at home currently, or you live with a family or friend member, obviously this is non-applicable to you. So obviously bear that in mind. But if it is, just inform your landlord or your current agent that there is going to be a reference coming for you. So then at least you've kind of given them the pre-warning. And then number 3 is they will always carry out on you an employment reference. So you need to let your employer know, make sure you get the right email address for who can provide the reference. It can either be your line manager or it could also be HR. Just make sure you get the right email, because sometimes the delay does actually come from them and not actually your letting agent or the referencing company. You 9 times out of 10 put your own information in, and it's really frustrating as a letting agent when people ring up like, what's going on with my referencing? Actually, it's not really our job to do it. It is actually down to the referencing company, and 9 times out of 10 it's actually because of false information that's been put in. Just saying, you know, you wanted the truth, here's the truth. So make sure you put all the right information in. It sounds like it's really fucking boring, but actually it's just like, you need to think about this shit. So, you know, with it, any of this could come back, and it could be you have a bad landlord reference, it could be that you don't have a good employment reference. Questions that are asked are going to be if you're in a fixed term contract, how long you've been in your employment for, if they think that you're going to be in your employment for the foreseeable future, they actually do ask if you're a trustworthy character. So they're the questions that they're going to be asked. Bear that in mind. I actually put out on Faye Home some questions for you guys wanting to know, what do you want to know about renting? And I had so many requests back, like so many. Oh, hang on. There was more than that, I promise. Like so many of them, it was ridiculous. So there's so many questions. I mean, we can do this as many times as you want to do it, guys. So, you know, I'm going to answer purely ones that are going to be about referencing and the first start of your tenancy, if that makes sense. So let's delve into your questions. Then I'm going to get Big Ted in and see how he felt. And then I really want to talk to another letting agent, to be fair. Actually, should we get my friend on? Let's see if she answers the phone to me. I mean, I'm doing this quite late at night, guys, so she might not answer.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
You okay?
How are you?
Yeah, fine.
How's my bestie?
How's my bestie? She a real bad bitch.
Make my own money. Right, anyway, I'm actually recording YouTube right now.
You're what? Recording YouTube?
Right now as we speak, yeah.
Right.
So we are talking about referencing with tenants, and I've already just spoken about the fact that 9 times out of 10 referencing is actually down to misinformation about tenants, that they don't put in the correct stuff. And also, once it goes over to referencing company, we don't have any jurisdiction on it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So, questionnaire time for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, so ready.
So ready. What is your biggest bugbear when it comes to referencing tenants? Is it false information that they've given you, or is it? Oh, is that it?
Oh no, sorry. I thought that was like the question. Go on.
Or is it when they constantly ring you asking for updates when they can get it online themselves?
That's a hard one. I'm going to have to go with the misinformation though, because nothing makes me put my head in my hands more than someone says, yeah, I've got no bad credit, nothing like that, and you think that, oh, we won't realise, and then
you tell do you remember that time, this is actually insider information, guys, do you remember that time I actually rented a property to somebody, and and you know what I'm going to say, don't you? I rented a property to somebody, and Katie used to do all the referencing side of things, and I handed it over to Katie to deal with, and she rang me the next day and went, Faye, he's actually, he's been in prison for a lot of fraud. And he had told us that he had clean referencing, and he had no CCJs or adverse credit history.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great.
It weren't a great time, was it?
Oh, no.
No. And then
the best one.
It weren't the best one, but no, it weren't. And we're just obviously always speaking about the fact we've just moved in, and we're just saying that I don't know about you, but another big bugbear of mine is when people decide not to take their meter readings and then try to say that their bills are too high.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one. Because, you know, you think when I move into my house, that's the first thing I do is think I better take the meter readings. And that doesn't matter if you're renting or buying, it makes no difference.
Do you know what? It's a good job you're a estate agent, Katie, you know?
It is actually, yeah. It's actually quite good and I know what I'm talking about.
What's your favourite part of the old referencing process? Actually, I'm going to ask you some questions. I put it out on my Instagram.
Right.
We probably should have done this face to face, to be fair. Now you're just on the phone to me. Right, so I'm gonna do a quick fire question round at you.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. How much roughly do you need for all the extra bills on top of your rent?
Oh God! Well, when anyone asks me that question,
yeah.
I just say it depends what your usage is. Because if you're sat in the bath, running the bath 24/7, obviously your water bill is going to be sky high, isn't it?
There's a reason why I employed you, you know. That's the right answer. That ding ding. Right.
I can't answer that.
No, it used to be my biggest bugbear. It used to be my biggest bugbear. How much are my bills going to be? Well, I don't know. How often do you shower at home? How often do you spend in the shower? How often do you cook at home? How hot do you like your house? Do you open your windows?
One thing you can do, actually, you can go online, and I don't know if you can do it for electric and gas and things like that, but you can do it for water. You can like do an estimate, and I don't know if it's just down here with South West Water, but it will ask you like roughly how many times do you think you flush the loo?
How often do you shit?
Yeah, basically. Basically. Is it one button or two buttons in the toilet?
Do you want to be on a water meter or not? Right, okay. Hang on, there's so many questions on here, right?
Christ.
I know, don't worry, I'm only going to do the big ones. Right, what are the benefits? Oh no, I'm not going to answer that one, that's for a different day, that one actually. Right, how much should you save before you rent?
Oh, well, obviously, you want to make sure you've got your first month's rent there and your deposit. Now, your deposit's 5 weeks' rent.
Yeah, do you have to pay your 5 weeks' rent all up front?
No, so you'll pay, well, with us.
You literally sound like you're on the phone at work. I love this.
Have you got flashbacks?
I literally do. I literally can hear you right now talking to somebody. So how much do you have to pay up front, Katie?
So, guess what? It depends on how much your rent is, because it's 1 week's rent, which is equivalent. It's equivalent of 1 week's rent, which goes towards your security deposit. So it comes off the total at the end.
Oh, okay. And my security deposit, can I pay more on a security deposit if I? Oh no. Right. Well done. It's illegal, guys. That means you can only ever take 5 weeks worth of rent for a deposit.
You can't even take more for a pet.
Not even for a pet. Right, guys, so you should never, ever, ever, doesn't matter whoever tells you this in the whole entire world, you should only ever be paying a maximum of 5 weeks rent for your deposit.
And we know our shit, so.
We know our shit. Right, I'm gonna do another, are you liking this? I know you probably want to go to bed, but.
No, it's alright, I'm loving it.
Oh, you're loving it, that's good. We should really have done this face to face, babe.
I know, but it's fine.
Yeah, it is fine, you're right. Right, okay. Let's have a look. What else do people want to... There's so many questions. What should we ask when viewing a flat? Nothing. I don't want you to ask a bloody thing. I just want you to... I'm joking. That's a joke. I want you in and out, alright? No.
Email me after the view.
Any questions, pop it on email. Just pop it on the email. No, we're joking. There's lots of questions, but you should have watched the viewing one. Because I did that all in the viewings one, so... Didn't I?
Are you talking to me?
I'm just talking to the camera and you in general.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Right. Let's have a look. Why do landlords decline renters who have IVAs even when they can prove they can afford the rent?
So, the way to look at it is obviously if you've got an IVA, you're going to fail a credit check. It usually shows in your account for 3 or 6 years, I can't remember. Sometimes it can show, sometimes it can't. I think it depends on what kind of CCJ it is or IVA, things like that. But if you were to go and rent a car, buy a car on finance, or if you were going to go and get a mortgage, it would affect you getting certain credit, and that's how they look at it. They see that you have in the past. Now that's not to necessarily say that you're not going to, you're not going to pay your rent. However, they do look at it as a black mark on your credit and do see it as a risk, because obviously in the past at some point you've been unable to pay certain bills, whether it's water or whatever.
So basically what we say is, as long as you've been upfront and honest about that at the very start when we ask you these application questions and we've told the landlord about it, there should be no problems. However, there can sometimes be issues if, one, you haven't disclosed it to the landlord normally and properly and first and foremost, because it can leave a bad taste in the landlord's mouth. And also, a lot of landlords can't actually rent to you just due to their insurances. So,
and mortgages as well.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not down to the landlord. And at the end of the day, actually, us letting agents, we are just the middleman, and I hate to say that is a cop-out, I know sometimes, but unfortunately we are, because it is always down to the landlord. We have no jurisdiction over what the landlord's final say is.
So don't be mean to us, please.
Don't be mean to us, and also just be upfront and honest. We'll tell the landlords, and if you've got £800 IVA against you because you didn't pay a parking ticket and it racked up bills, and it was 4 years ago, we're going to tell the landlord that, and he'll probably be like, oh, okay, cool, I understand. But if you keep it hidden, that's why I said to you at the very beginning of this whole conversation, make sure you've got clear score or Experian. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, welcome to what? What did you say?
I said, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh, TED Talk. No, yeah, TED Talks. I know he's in the...
Yeah, you know the thing where people stand on stage and they preach about a subject? That's like me and you right now.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Teddy.
No, oh God, you're obsessed.
I am obsessed. Why am I obsessed with him? But anyway, okay. What are the laws on oh God, this isn't very... Right, hang on. Is it worth it, or should I carry on living with parents and save for a house? Oh, that's a good one. I always find with renting, it's always so good, even if you do it for 6 months, so that you can understand budgeting, you can understand where exactly you want to live, what are your musts, how long it takes you to get to work, how you feel about being independent, if you need a bigger house, a smaller house. I actually think it's a really good idea to rent, and when you're applying for a mortgage, they do take into consideration that your rent is going out each month, and you should still be able to save. However, saying that, it's hard because some people don't want to buy. Some people want the flexibility.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be tied into a mortgage. It's always, I think, really good for people if they're definitely in a new relationship to rent to begin with, because a mortgage is a huge commitment. Right. So, when they calculate affordability, do they take into account a car on finance?
No.
No, we don't. We only look at your income. So we look at your overall income, and that is it.
And that's before tax. We look at your income before tax as well. So we're not interested in it after tax. So that bumps everyone up a little bit.
Extra little 20%.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right. So hard being young and trying to rent because they always ask for a guarantor. Any advice? You should not need a guarantor unless you don't pass one of the 3 things we just spoke about, which is your credit search, employment reference, or a landlord reference. So, but at the end of the day, it might not be the landlord asking for it. It may be their insurance or their mortgage saying that you need to have a guarantor. However, unless you don't pass referencing, you shouldn't need one. That's safe to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not done on age, so I appreciate obviously if you're a bit younger, you might be on a lower income, but other things they sometimes take into account is if you've got savings. Now usually you need quite a substantial amount of savings, but that can always help with someone who can pass the guarantor referencing. For example, if your guarantor might be retired, so have a lower income and stuff like that. So a lot of referencing companies end agents will take that into account as well.
Correct. I've got one here. How can you get a place to rent without a guarantor if you're a student? Bottom line is you can't unless you have an income. A student, you don't have an income, you have a student finance loan, which doesn't class as a form of income when it comes to referencing. Correct?
Correct.
Right, I was waiting for you then. I was thinking, I fucked up.
I didn't know if you're going to carry on speaking. I didn't want to interrupt you. You sounded like you were on a roll then.
Oh no, I thought that was pretty short and snappy. I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the sound of my own voice, but I don't feel like I needed to do it then.
Hey?
Do like the sound of my own voice, but I don't think I really needed to do it then.
Oh, right, yeah. What she said.
Exactly what she said, Katie. Right, Katie.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Lovely to speak to you, my darling.
Always a lovely time to speak. Like we've been on the phone.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Always a pleasure. When are we going for a cuppa or a glass of wine?
ASAP.
Oh, ASAP Rocky. Lovely. Well, it's been lovely. I'm sure I'll get you on the YouTube and everyone will be able to see your beautiful face at some point. It's been lovely and we will speak very soon.
Speak to you later.
Goodbye, co-host.
Bye.
Bye, love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
So guys, we've just had Katie on there, so if you're not going to take my word for it and my advice, you can take Katie's. Katie used to work with me for a very long time and I love her so much. She was actually the first person I told I was going on Love Island. She actually went through all the auditions, but she was actually there when I got the message on Instagram. Isn't that funny? And then she was there through all of my auditions and she used to cover for me at work when I needed to go on Zooms and stuff. How funny. Do you want to get Ted in just to say hello? Teddy!
Just interrupted football.
Interrupted football. Oh, look at us in our
Jack was
I just said, I was like, he done it, he done his collab, so proud.
You like
stop
it?
Snogging me. Oh, stop it. Oh. We're talking about the application process. Was our application process easy for this house?
It took a while, but I think that was more so finding the place. Application-wise, you had it handled really, yeah.
Yeah, I had this shit handled.
Smooth.
Yeah, I literally told you what you had to write. And did you like it when we did our when we first moved in and we had to do the safety chores first?
Yeah, boring.
Boring. What do you remember doing?
Fire alarm, carbon monoxide.
Yeah, because we had a solid fuel burning stove. So these aren't actually, that isn't actually legal requirement if you've only got a gas boiler, but it should be actually. I think it should be. But we've got an open fire.
Yeah, that's the one.
A solid fuel burner.
Okay, yeah.
Which is like wood, coal. Yeah.
Science, all that good stuff. No, but yeah, I remember all of it because it was hella boring. I've never actually done it before, although I have rented, so that was a lesson for me.
Lessons learned. Goodbye all.
Ciao.
Oh, look what you've done to my hair.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. What was?
There we go.
Right now I look like a page boy. It's slicked my head. Great. Thank you.
Stunning as always.
See you later, guys. Love yous.
Peace out.